2022台湾马来西亚产业链结高峰论坛大会开幕仪式正式开始，欢迎来自台湾和马来西亚的观众线上参与台马论坛。今年由于疫情影响，仍然是以现实距离的交流。Excellencies, honorable speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening ceremony of the Malaysia-Taiwan Industrial Collaboration Summit 2022. Due to the ongoing pandemic, this year's summit will take place online again. We sincerely hope that our distinguished guests can still be connected across our respective screens. 待会儿我们会播放开幕影片，跟大家说明这几年台马产业链结的高峰论坛办理的情况。今年堂堂迈入第6届。2017到2019前3年，展开双方互访办理实体论坛方式，透过双方稳定的产业、经济以及人才交流互动及合作关系，已经迈。Later, we will show you an opening video which demonstrates how the Malaysia-Taiwan Industrial Collaboration Summit has been held over the past few years. This year is the 6th edition. From 2017 to 2019, the face-to-face summit have laid a solid foundation for the industrial, economic, and talent exchanges between Malaysia and Taiwan. 2017年前第一届台马纺织链结高峰论坛是在台中的长荣桂冠酒店所举行。当时的会议吸引台马双边产官学研超过500位的业者参加。论坛中，双方一共签署了纺织、智慧城市、资讯服务、食品药化妆品等4大产业，一共15项的合作备忘录，成为推动台马产业实质合作的新动能。In 2017, the first Malaysia-Taiwan Textile Collaboration Summit was held in Evergreen Laurel Hotel in Taichung. Over 500 people from the industry, government, academia, and research institutes participated. 15 MOUs were signed in the 4 areas of textile, smart city, IT, and food, medicine, and cosmetics. The summit has provided new momentum for the bilateral cooperation between our 2 countries. 2018第2届是在吉隆坡马来西亚投资局的总部共同举办，目标是深化实质合作，双方陆续签署了一共有7项的合作备忘录。In 2018, the second summit was held at the headquarters of MIDA in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Both sides concluded 7 MOUs to deepen our substantive cooperation. 2019年聚焦智慧制造，第3届在台北国际会议中心盛大举行，共计台湾以及马来西亚的产官学研一共有450人参与活动。In 2019, the summit focused on smart manufacturing, and it was held in Taipei International Convention Center. Over 450 people from the industry, government, academia, and research participated. 接下来3年，全球持续受到新冠病毒的影响，许多国际经济、经贸、商洽活动呢，则是采用视讯的方式办理。因此，台马产业链结高峰论坛一样也采用视讯的方式，继续让产业交流不受疫情影响。In the following 3 years, due to the impact of the pandemic, many international trade and business events have been held online. Thus, the Malaysia-Taiwan Industrial Collaboration Summit also takes place virtually, so that the industrial exchanges between our 2 countries will continue. 2020年着重防疫交流，不受疫情影响，完成了纺织、食品药化妆品、智慧城市与资讯服务4场线上分论坛。透过线上直播的方式，让台马两地的产业依旧可以参与交流，积极落实双边产业对接，也让台马产业的交流不停歇。In 2020, the focus was on pandemic prevention and continuous exchange. The 4 forums in textile, smart city, IT, and food, medicine, and cosmetics were held online so that our industries could continue their cooperation and exchanges. 2021年，全球产业朝向数位转型方向迈进。论坛的首日就吸引台马产学界300人次上线参与，一共签署了5项 MOU， 并且促成2项产业合作成果。In 2021, the summit aimed to promote digital transformation. On the first day of the summit, over 300 people joined online. 5 MOUs were signed, and 2 industrial cooperation came to fruition. 今年是第6届的2022台马产业链结高峰论坛， 依循新南向政策推动计划的方针，秉持长期深耕、多元开展、双向互惠的核心理念，整合各部会、地方政府以及民间企业团体的资源与力量，从经贸合作、人才交流、资源共享以及区域链结4大面向着手，期望与亚太区域等国创造互利共赢的新合作模式，并且建立经济共同体意识。In 2022, the 6th edition of the summit adheres to the new South-bound policy-driven plan, upholding the core beliefs of trade cooperation, talent exchange, resource sharing, and mutual benefit. It is hoped that the new cooperation model will create a new sense of economic community. 今天的活动正式开始，接下来就为大家播放一支回顾影片。And now we will play a video. Please enjoy.首先，我们邀请马方产业代表马来西亚制造商联合会苏天来会长为我们致欢迎词。First, please welcome the representative of the Malaysia industry, Tan Sri Dato So Tian Lai, President of Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers, to give us the welcome remarks.
Mr. Lin Mingju, Vice Chairman, Chinese National Federation of Industries, 中华民国全国工业总会副主席林明如先生 ，esteemed officers from the Ministry of Economic Affairs Taiwan and Malaysian Investment Development Authority (MIDA) Taipei Office, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers, FMM, I thank the Chinese National Federation of Industries, CNFI, for the honor to co-organize the 2022 Taiwan-Malaysia Industrial Collaboration Summit, which is held along with 4 sub-forums in the major industries, namely Smart City, IT Service, Biotechnology for Food, medicine, and Cosmetic Industries and Textile. The event held virtually will also feature a virtual exhibition focusing on the 4 industries I have just mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, as the premier industry organization in Malaysia, the Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers has been officially recognized and acknowledged as the voice of the industries. Established in 1968, FMM now represents the interest of over 11,500 members from the manufacturing supply chain. Our vision is making Malaysian industries globally competitive. As such, FMM is proud to enter our 6th year of collaboration with CNFI to organize this summit. I firmly believe the summit and the exhibition will provide an avenue for meaningful conversations through the sub-forums, live panel discussions, and online dialogues to reach out to a larger participation of Malaysian and Taiwanese businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, building upon our close and enduring friendship, Malaysia and Taiwan have continued to strengthen economic ties even during the current pandemic crisis, with Taiwan being one of the major trading markets for Malaysia. In 2021, Malaysia's total trade with Taiwan amounted to US $35.96 billion, with exports of US $16.87 billion and imports of US $9.09 billion. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, bilateral trade between Malaysia and Taiwan from January to June 2022 increased by 36.5% for exports and 39.5% for imports compared for the same period in 2021. Being known as one of the world's leading producers of information and communication technology products and home to the world's largest chip maker, Taiwan offers abundant opportunities for Malaysian businesses to explore and venture into, namely E&E, ICT, machinery, equipment, and parts, smart medical devices, medical tourism, halal products, and services, including food and beverages sector. Nevertheless, we continue to face challenges to our export competitiveness impacted by global economic uncertainties across multilateral fronts. Indeed, there is a dire need to quickly respond to these headwinds. As such, I believe that this annual event will create an effective platform to map out the industrial foundation for bilateral cooperation among businesses. I urge businesses to actively participate in this event to further fortify businesses cooperation between Malaysia and Taiwan. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very successful summit. Thank you. 谢谢。
谢谢马方产业代表马来西亚制造商联合会苏天来会长。Thank you, Tan Dato Sri So Tian Lai。接下来，让我们邀请台方的产业代表台湾全国工业总会林明如副理事长致欢迎词。Next, we would like to invite the representative of the Taiwanese industry, Mr. Lin Mingru, Vice Chairman of Chinese National Federation of Industries, to give us the welcome remarks.
Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers, Tan Sri Dato So Tian Lai, Madame Nora Hasna, Senior Director, Bilateral Economic Trade Relations Division at MITI, Director General Lin at the Industrial Development Bureau. Ladies and gentlemen from Taiwan and Malaysia, good afternoon. First, on behalf of the CNFI, I would like to welcome all of you to the 2022 Malaysia-Taiwan Industrial Collaboration Summit. I would also like to especially thank the FMM for your tireless assistance and the industry representatives for passionately responding to this event to explore opportunities for bilateral collaboration. We all know that resilience is the key in the age of COVID-19. In Malaysia, under the challenge of the virus, supply chain interruptions, inflation, etc., they still enjoy 5% economic growth, which is higher than 2.9% global average. Their competitiveness in digital technology also ranks second in ASEAN countries, attesting to Malaysia's resilience, making it a favorite place of investment for Taiwanese businesses. In addition, Malaysia is also a leading exporter in electronic parts, last year approving nearly 100 electronics investment projects, estimated at up to $30 billion USD, including Honghai subsidiary BIH, Big Innovation Holding Company, which is also planning to set up a fab in Malaysia this year, and received incentives from Malaysia's Ministry of Finance and Investment Development Authority. Taiwan's comprehensive industry chain, on the other hand, as well as high-end R&D capability and strategic ability, has attracted tens of thousands of Malaysian students to study here. Taiwan also employs over 6,000 Malaysian professionals to work here. We are heartened to see the increasingly close collaboration in the private sector between the two countries and looking forward to continued bilateral growth. I'm confident this industrial cooperation and talent exchange will further drive our bilateral relationship. And we will continue to maintain close and vibrant interactions in trade, economic, and culture. This marks the 6th year of the Malaysia-Taiwan Summit, with over 500 businesses actively participating every year, demonstrating the emphasis businesses place on this bilateral cooperation. This year, the 4 main themes are Smart City, Food, Medicine, and Cosmetics, IT Services, and Textile, as we explore forward-looking opportunities in bilateral cooperation. In the fields of driverless vehicles, digital services, Muslim fashion, etc., we have also proposed concrete developmental strategies. Both sides have worked to realize cooperation in 4 initiatives, namely Malaysian Knitting Factory with Fengjia University talents, water monitoring, management system integration, and vehicle identification solutions. Formal agreements will be signed in the ceremonies at this event, attesting to the achievements of this forum. Finally, I want to thank all of you for gracing this event. I'm confident that you will fully enjoy the next 3 days of events and exchange and continue to build on our already robust foundation. CNFI will also continue to enhance industrial cooperation and create a bright future together. I wish you health and prosperity. Thank you.
谢谢台方产业代表、台湾全国工业总会林明如副理事长。Thank you, Vice Chairman Lin. 接下来我们邀请到马方的官方代表，马来西亚国际贸易及工业部双边司长 Madam Noor Hasna 致欢迎词。Now we would like to invite Malaysia's government representative, Madam Noor Hasna, Senior Director of Bilateral Economic Trade Relations Division at MITI, to give us her opening remarks.
Mr. Ching Chang Lian, Director General of the Industrial Development Bureau, Ministry of Economic Affairs Taiwan, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk So Tian Lai, President of the Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers, Mr. Min Ju Lin, Vice Chairman of the Chinese National Federation of Industries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and salam sejahtera. Thank you for inviting the Ministry of International Trade and Industry Malaysia to the Malaysia-Taiwan Industrial Collaboration Summit 2022. I wish to congratulate the Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers and the Chinese National Federation of Industries for successfully hosting the summit this year, which serves as a vital platform to exchange views and deepen understanding of our mutual aspirations to forge closer business relations through a sustainable business environment. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by sharing the economic outlook of Malaysia. According to the Central Bank of Malaysia, the Malaysian economy registered a stronger growth of 8.9% in the second quarter of 2022. Domestic demand continued to strengthen, underpinned by the steady recovery in labour market conditions and ongoing policy support. Malaysia's exports remained supported by strong demand for E&E products. By sector, the services and manufacturing sectors continued to drive growth. On a quarter-on-quarter seasonally adjusted basis, the economy increased by 3.5%. Last year, Malaysia's trade performance hit an all-time high, surpassing 2 trillion ringgit, with exports reaching a record-breaking 1.24 trillion ringgit. Malaysia's trade has consistently resulted in a surplus for 24 consecutive years since 1998. These achievements were attributed to the robust external demand and higher commodity prices. On the investment front, Malaysia attracted 306.5 billion ringgit of approved investments in the manufacturing, services, and primary sectors, a staggering increase of 83.1% in 2021 compared to the previous year. In 2021, Malaysia's total trade with Taiwan amounted to $27.91 billion USD, an increase of 25.9% from the previous year. With regard to investment, as of December 2021, a total of 1,571 manufacturing projects with participation from Taiwan were implemented with investments amounting to 6.8 billion USD, making Taiwan as Malaysia's 10th largest source of FDI. As one of the major investors in the manufacturing sector, particularly in electrical and electronics sector and digital transformation industry, Taiwanese investments have enabled the transfer of technology and contributed to talent and skills development of the Malaysian workforce. I hope the business community from both Malaysia and Taiwan will further explore the potential cooperation and in the emerging sectors to seize the opportunities in this dynamic environment. There are plenty of opportunities to be tapped by Malaysian and Taiwanese companies in the fourth industrial revolution, as well as new emerging sectors by jointly exploring and strengthening cooperation ties. That brings me to the successful collaboration works undertaken by the Malaysia-Taiwan Economic Cooperation Committee, or the MTECC. The relentless support and contributions by the three working groups, namely Trade, Investment, SME Development, as well as the Business Advisory Group, have indeed espoused interactions between the government and the business community. The participation from the private sector has certainly enriched the deliberation and formulated constructive recommendations to address the economic issues and challenges. I am delighted to note that the recently held Malaysia-Taiwan Business Exchange meeting on Smart Healthcare webinar organized by the Ministry of Entrepreneurial Development and Cooperatives Malaysia and the Small and Medium Enterprise Administration of Taiwan has attracted sizable participants from the medical and healthcare companies from both Malaysia and Taiwan. Such an event has opened up more opportunities for knowledge exchange, technology innovation, identify prevailing market trends, and put forth solutions for promoting smart healthcare development and further strengthening the supply and value chains. Ladies and gentlemen, the coming into force of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, on 18 March 2022 for Malaysia is shaping the supply and value chain connectivity in this region and will further unleash the potential for trade in goods between Malaysia and our trading partners. As Malaysia is strategically located at the heart of the Southeast Asia, we are well positioned to serve as a gateway to the ASEAN region. As such, Malaysia welcomes Taiwanese companies that are venturing abroad to work with Malaysian companies to capture the RCEP and ASEAN markets. According to an ASEAN Development Bank study, the RCEP will increase the incomes of member economies by 0.6% by 2030, adding 245 billion USD annually to the regional income and 2.8 million jobs to regional employment. As many Taiwanese investors can affirm, Malaysia offers unparalleled advantages for investors. We are determined to maintain our status as a preferred investment destination despite the rising global competition and challenges. The effectiveness of our initiatives has not gone unnoticed. Several international organizations attest to our marked success. For instance, according to the 2022 Milken Institute Global Opportunity Index, Malaysia ranks first in emerging Southeast Asia as the country with the most potential to attract foreign investors. Additionally, Malaysia's e-commerce was ranked first in terms of growth among the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership member countries in the Deloitte Technology Empowered Digital Trade in Asia Pacific report. The IMD World Competitiveness Center ranked Malaysia as the 25th most competitive nation among 64 economies in 2021. These are the testaments of our commitments to make Malaysia resilient amidst the global economic challenges and post-pandemic economic recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I would like to record my appreciation to both FMM and CNFI for the instrumental roles assumed in engaging with business chambers, companies, and relevant stakeholders in forging trade and investment ties between Malaysia and Taiwan. I hope all of you will have a fruitful discussion throughout this summit. Thank you.
谢谢马方官方代表、马来西亚国际贸易及工业部双边司长。Thank you, Madam Noor Hasna from MITI。接下来我们邀请到的是台方的官方代表，经济部工业局连锦章局长致欢迎词。Next, please welcome Taiwan's government representative, Mr. Lian Jingzhang, Director General of the Industrial Development Bureau of the Ministry of Economic Affairs, to give us his opening remarks.
Tan Sri Dr. So Tian Lai of the FMM, CNFI, Mr. Min Juyin, Ms. Noor Hennes, Senior Director at the Bilateral Economic Trade Relations Division MITI, being representative from the Malaysian Friendship and Trade Center, and all the experts and industry representatives from Malaysia and Taiwan. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to join today's summit. Despite impact of COVID-19 in the last 2 years, Taiwan-Malaysia bilateral trade continued to grow. In 2021, the trade was 25.12 billion USD, which is 29.9% growth compared to last year. Taiwan is the 5th largest trade partner of Malaysia, while Malaysia is the 7th largest trade partner of Taiwan. Malaysia is a key partner in Taiwan's new southbound policies, enjoying rapid economic growth in recent years. In terms of industrial policies, Malaysia launched My Digital initiative, accelerating innovation and establishing a sound digital ecosystem. Taiwan, on the other hand, is building on the existing 5+2 industry innovation foundation, enjoying great development in smart manufacturing, smart healthcare, driverless vehicle, smart chip, AI crossover apps, and net zero. And we are working toward more diversified innovation in apps while also driving digital upgrades and transformation in traditional industries. In the next wave of co-opetition in trade and economy, Taiwan is promoting industry resilience and helping Taiwan's businesses find alternative production hubs and looking to build with Malaysia a win-win cooperation model. Malaysia-Taiwan Industry Collaboration Summit had been staged 5 times in the past, with this year being the 6th edition. With 2,000 participants, 41 MOU signed at the summit. The summit deepens bilateral industry cooperation, create more and more success stories, demonstrating tremendous accomplishments in our bilateral cooperation. Today, MOUs will be signed in smart city, IT services, and textile by both sides. We are excited to see the continuous effect of this summit expand to strengthen bilateral cooperation and further deepen our connection. Finally, on behalf of the MOEA, I would like to express my gratitude and welcome to all industry reps, especially under the epidemic, the importance of the summit being held online, and all of you have taken time out of your busy schedule to participate in this forum. This demonstrates the importance you place on this matter. I look forward to our joint effort creating more business opportunities through the summit. Finally, I would like to wish the summit every success. Thank you.
谢谢连局长。台马产业链结高峰论坛主要的目的在深化台湾与马来西亚双边产业合作关系。自新南向政策推动以来，透过台马产业合作所建立的交流管道，持续深化扩大合作关系，并且产出这个产业获利双赢的新合作模式。台马产业链结高峰论坛自2017年起已经成功举办了6届，共计双方近2000人次参与，签署了41份合作备忘录。论坛也提供了台马产业一个优质的合作交流平台，更深化彼此的经贸及产业合作。The purpose of the Malaysia-Taiwan Industrial Collaboration Summit 2022 is to deepen the bilateral industrial cooperation between our two countries. Since its inception in 2017, this has been the 6th edition of the summit. So far, almost 2,000 people from Malaysia and Taiwan have participated in the summit, and 41 MOUs have been signed. The summit serves as a great platform for exchanges so as to deepen our industrial cooperation. 接下来就为大家介绍4个领域签订的 MOU。第一个产业合作是智慧城市，台湾厂商由景益科技公司与马来西亚 Nexus Union 签约合作，由经济部城乡办公室促成台湾的景益科技公司，将高级驾驶辅助技术 ADAS 以及道路数据服务技术与马来西亚系统整合商合作，双方将针对使用 ADAS 系统进行智能道路数据采集、人工智能识别与判识、建立资讯服务平台、资料分析管理等智能方向服务的项目。And now we're going to introduce the 4 MOUs. The first area for industrial cooperation is Smart City. TMS Technology from Taiwan and Nexus Union from Malaysia will cooperate on the ADAS and road data service, thanks to the support from the IDB Smart City Development Project. Both sides will introduce ADAS and road data collection, AI identification, information data analytics and management to Sabah. 第二个产业合作是资讯服务。马来西亚的 WLC Solutions 将代理台湾爱扬科技的车流辨识解决方案，透过签约合作，在马来西亚进行技术销售，优先针对广告以及交通应用领域的市场，提供车流辨识的技术服务。The second cooperation area is IT services. IO Networks Inc. from Taiwan and WLC Solutions from Malaysia will sign an MOU so that WLC Solutions can conduct technical transfer for IO Networks Inc's traffic flow solution in Malaysia. 第三个领域是纺织产业技术交流与第二代纺织人才的培训签约合作。纺织产业团体是由中华逢甲大学纤维与复合材料协会与马来西亚针织厂商会签约合作。过去，马来西亚针织厂商会会员厂曾经受到台湾政府奖助，让海外青年来台湾就读大学，因此逢甲大学纺织系造就了许多杰出的纺织企业家，例如利马集团董事长马文清与马文明，就是当年逢甲大学所训练出杰出的纺织人才。逢甲大学纺织系的老师与校友会也曾经组团到亚巴朱巴峡纺织城，并且与 MKMA 进行经验交流。因此，马来西亚针织厂商会会长决定在今年与逢甲大学纤维和复合材料协会，也就是原本的纺织系系友会签约合作，共续前缘。透过 MOU 的签署，强化推动台马纺织业的紧密交流，延续二代纺织人才培训以及产业供应链的深化合作。The third area is textile technical exchange and a training for younger talent in textile. 中华逢甲 University Fiber and Composite Materials Association and MKMA will sign an MOU. In the past, many members of the MKMA received Taiwan government scholarships to study in Taiwan's universities, so many outstanding textile business people graduated from Fengjia University, including President Ma Wenqing and Ma Wenming of Ramatex. The faculty of FCU's textile department also sent delegations to Malaysia to exchange experiences. Thus, by signing an MOU, both sides hope to deepen their cooperation and cultivate more outstanding textile talent for the new generation. 第四个合作领域是有关于食品医药化妆品。经济部生技医药产业发展推动小组与 Malaysian Bioeconomy Development Corporation SDNBHD 的产业合作。今年，生技医药产业发展推动小组已经陆续安排接洽拜访马来西亚细胞治疗相关的生医业者，因此台湾长盛国际生技股份有限公司有机会跟马来西亚的2家生医公司进行临床试验的技术合作以及技术授权。目前已经跟马来西亚的 T 公司还有 C 公司签署了保密协议，后续双方将会进一步的讨论朝更深入的合作关系发展。The fourth area is food, medicine, and cosmetics. The Biotechnology and Pharmaceutical Industries Promotion Office, MOEA, has cooperated with Malaysian Bioeconomy Development Corporation, SDNBHD. Taiwan's ever-supreme biotechnology has signed NDAs with 2 Malaysian companies to conduct clinical trials and technical authorization, and both sides will forge deeper cooperation. 尽管全球疫情仍然尚未缓解，但是2022年台马高峰论坛依旧透过视讯的连线，举办多场专业技术交流活动以及商机媒合，促成纺织、智慧城市、资讯服务以及食品医药化妆品产业等4项合作，其中包括签署3项的合作 MOU 以及1项的 NDA。Although the COVID-19 pandemic is still ongoing, there is intensive technical exchange and matchmaking in the Malaysia-Taiwan Industrial Collaboration Summit 2022, leading to the cooperation in the fields of textile, smart city, IT services, and food, medicine, and cosmetics. 3 MOUs and 1 NDA have been signed. 让我们在线上为马来西亚以及台湾这次签约合作的4个产业掌声鼓励。Please give a round of applause for these 4 industries. 接下来我们进入专题演讲的时间。首先，让我们欢迎 Dr. Hesri Adnan, Executive Director of Malaysian Institute of Economic Research。他的讲题是新曙光马来西亚的 ESG 议程和挑战。 Now let's move on to the keynote speeches. Please welcome Dr. Hesri Adnan, Executive Director of Malaysian Institute of Economic Research. He will talk about A New Dawn, the ESG agenda and challenges in Malaysia. Please welcome Dr. Adnan.
Greetings of peace, greetings of solidarity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, economic exchanges between Taiwan and Malaysia have accelerated, people-to-people relations have deepened, and interactions at the subnational levels have also improved. There are many official and non-official channels responsible for strengthening the bilateral trust between our two entities. But here I would like to state the importance of a track to diplomacy think tank such as the Taiwan Institute of Economic Research, or TIER, in strengthening this bilateral trade between Malaysia and Taiwan. And with this in mind, I would like to start by thanking TIER for inviting the Malaysian Institute of Economic Research to this summit today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin my presentation now. Which is titled A New Dawn, the ESG Challenge, the ESG Agenda and Challenges in Malaysia. And I will start by looking at some of the background to Malaysia's industrialization, and then say a few words about the emergence of ESG as led by the government and also the private sector, and also highlight a few challenges that we see as we go along this very important endeavor, and close this half an hour talk with some future options for us, both Malaysia and Taiwan, to consider. As we all know, the bilateral trade between Malaysia and Taiwan is very important. Taiwan is Malaysia's 5th largest trading partner, and Malaysia is Taiwan's 7th largest. And the foreign direct investment from Taiwan to Malaysia is valued around $14 billion, which is quite significant. And I'm also happy to know that this year's Taiwan Expo in Malaysia did not only focus on issues of or concerns on logistics solutions and telemedicine, but also on ESG and net zero emissions technologies and services. I will have more to say about that later. But first, let's look at the history of industrialization in Malaysia. It is now common knowledge that the double-digit growth of the manufacturing sector took Malaysia to a new level of economic development in the 1990s. Many observers agreed that industrialization in 1960s and 1970s have actually achieved the government objectives of reducing unemployment and in fighting poverty. But many also have agreed that the technological upgrading in recent decade was restricted by lack of human capital development in Malaysia, which has led to some observers concluding that Malaysia has not been very successful in moving into high value added activities. There are many opinions on this, but whatever it is, there are more than 500 industrial estates spread across, distributed across Malaysia. And over the past few decades, we have ventured into instruments like industrial zones, export processing zones. We started this in the 70s, and then went into the whole idea of science and technology parks in the 1990s. And more recently, in 2006, we embarked on this development of regional corridors. If you look at the value-added shares of gross output of the main of export-oriented sector, which is electrical and electronics, you can see that it's been sort of a decline from the 1990s, which have led to some, observers saying that Malaysia has actually deindustrialized. Of course, if you plot this value-added shares, on its own, you can see that the manufacturing output actually increasing, but as a percentage share of the gross output, we can see here that it has declined and then started to stagnate in the past few years. So is this a good thing? Are we happy with that? Of course, we're not happy with that. And just to translate this experience in terms of space, of course, let me start by saying that in the latest census, the population of Malaysia is about 32 million people, and we are a federation of 13 states, 14 plus a federal territory, and we are about 10 times the size of Taiwan, which is about 330,000 square kilometers. And by now we are for a long time now, we are an upper middle income country with a GNI per capita of about $10,000. If you take three proxy measures of indicators of development, poverty rate for social dimension of development, GDP per capita for the economic pillar of development, and ecological footprint as the environmental metric, you can see that the social component has really improved over the years. Poverty rate has gone down significantly from 1960s to in recent years it's gone below 0%, below 1% poverty rate. And then the GDP per capita has also increased significantly. But the challenge that we have is that the ecological footprint have also grown in tandem or concomitant with the growth of GDP per capita. So we cannot argue that the convergence of environmental social pillars of development have taken place, and so that we can comfortably say that we are a country that's followed a sustainable development path. So against this backdrop, we can say that there are many environmental challenges, which also translate to social challenges in the past decades that we are still grappling with. Another indicator I could share here is the loss of forests in Peninsular Malaysia over the past few decades since independence. Of course, during independence, we had about more than 80% of Peninsular Malaysia was covered by forests. And by 2010, we are left with about 44.4% of Peninsula with forest. But the challenge is, particularly for wildlife conservation, these big forest tracts are now disconnected. There are 4 big forest islands, and this presents a significant challenge for environmental conservation. And the forest clearance are also affected. The river regime in Malaysia has changed. In some parts of the peninsula, the flood-prone areas are expected to increase by 200% by 2030. And in the past couple of years, we've experienced pretty bad floods, which we have not experienced before, even in Kuala Lumpur. So this is a big challenge, and we feel the impact of climate change, and also man-made hazard caused by deforestation and all this. And in addition to that, 5 states, there are 11 states in Peninsular Malaysia, 5 of them are considered water insecure, despite Malaysia being a country with heavy rainfall. On the energy side, the GHG emissions for the energy sector is the highest. In ASEAN, of course, Malaysia is not the highest emitter, but when it comes to per capita emission, we are very high. And the energy sector is the largest contributor, followed by the transportation sector. And in addition to that, on the social part, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection in 2021 issued a detention order blocking certain imports from Top Glove. The Top Glove has been, which is a big glove producer, has been accused of using forced labor. And U.S. Department of State also downgraded Malaysia to bottom tier in its human trafficking report for 2021. So this presents a significant challenge for Malaysia on the ESG count. And now that I've mentioned ESG, of course, if you read newspapers these days, not just in Malaysia, everywhere, the coverage on ESG is just quite, they're everywhere, quite overwhelming in some cases. So the idea is to make capitalism work better so that we can deal with the grave threat of climate change and also other environmental challenges. And for many years, businesses has been seen as a threat to the environment, and now it is increasingly seen as a solution. And of course, there's also carrot in the whole equation, with investment asset worth trillions of US dollars are now monitored through ESG lens. And just like in other countries, in Malaysia as well, we are now undergoing this ESG fever, if I can call that. And the Malaysian government has been very proactive. And it's also the ministries and its regulatory arms are committed to steer companies and investors to prioritize ESG principles and to also align them to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. If I can go through some of the major initiatives by the government, the Ministry of Finance used to be a hard fortress to enter when it comes to sustainable development, say 10 or 20 years ago. But now they are taking the lead in many of these sustainability initiatives. For instance, it released the principle of good governance for government-linked investment companies. which is sending a very clear signal to the GLCs. Malaysia have a very strong GLC presence, and GLIC as well, government-linked investment companies. And we are now in the midst of preparing our 2023 budget. There are 2 papers which are related to ESG are now being circulated for feedback. And our SDG or Sustainable Development Goals Sukuk framework has about a year ago we launched the world's first government-owned US dollar sustainability sukuk. It was oversubscribed 6.4 times. It was supposed to sell at only about $1 billion, but it ended up amounting to about $1.3 billion. There was an overwhelming demand for this. And then, of course, the Ministry of International Trade and Industry is in the midst of coming up with a national investment policy with some ESG components embedded in this policy. And of course, it's also, the national investment aspirations also state the importance of ESGs. MIDA, the Malaysian Industrial Development Authority, have introduced green investment tax allowance and also green income tax exemption since the past couple of years. And from January to March 2022, there have been about 212 green technology projects and service activities amounting to about 433 million ringgit Malaysia were successfully approved. And from 2001 to 2022, MIDA approved investments of green projects and services around 35.5 billion ringgit, which with a total of over 3,100 projects. And another very important player in this ESG space is Bank Negara Malaysia. Last year it released the climate change and principle-based taxonomy, which is very important to serve as a guide for financial institutions under the supervision of the central bank. And this covers, the commercial banks, the insurers, the investment banks, takaful operators. And the taxonomy present some use cases in the oil palm sector, for instance, financing for expansion of oil palm plantation, financing for broiler chicken house, refinancing of green building, etc., etc. So they've got some use cases there. And it also convened a joint committee on climate change, or JC3, which is jointly chaired by the central bank deputy governor and also the deputy CEO of Securities Commission of Malaysia. And the committee comprises of about 21 members from the financial industry and also senior officials from the Stock Exchange of Bursa Malaysia. And then the National Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is Khazanah National, has a Dana Impact Fund, I think amounts to about 6 billion Malaysian ringgit, which identifies catalytic sectors in clean energy, climate technology, and also social inclusion. It's not big, but it is a very positive signal by the Sovereign Wealth Fund called Khazanah. The largest institutional investor in Malaysia, the Employers Provident Fund, has also sent the right signal by releasing the EPF Sustainable Investment Policy, Priority Issues Policy, and so Priority Sector Policies. And with its deep involvement in corporate Malaysia, these policy guidance will be very important in pushing the ESG agenda deeper in the Malaysian corporate, within the Malaysian corporate fraternity. Securities Commission have also been very proactive. They've issued guidance note on managing ESG risk for fund management companies. There's also a roadmap for social responsible investment. Also released Malaysian Code on Corporate Governance. And last but not least is the leadership by Bursa Malaysia, or the Stock Exchange. It has introduced the FTSE series on ESG for quite some years now. It also has a guideline on sustainability reporting. It has a guidebook on public listed companies transformation. And I think just a few weeks ago, it announced that the voluntary carbon market that they will start operating it by end of this year. So you have the involvement of institutional funds, you have the regulators like Securities Commission, Bank Negara, and Bursa working together with MOF to help push the ESG agenda. And that is on the government side of the equation. And on the market side, we are seeing equally active, if not more active, involvement of the players. If you look at the types of credit facilities available now, we have all kinds of sustainability-linked loans, like Maybank Solar Finance. Maybank is the largest bank in Malaysia. Bank Negara, Central Bank, also has a low-carbon transition facility for SMEs. CIMB, the second largest bank, also has a facility called Green Beast Ready for SME. And for consumers, RHB Bank has this special financing for electric vehicle. And then UOB Bank has U Energy, which is a facility for companies or industrial players to retrofit their buildings for energy efficiency. And then on the ESG focused funds, in total now we have about 16, and the largest include Hong Leong Wholesale Bond, BIMB Arabesque Global Dividend, Public E-Carbon Efficient Fund, and these three alone amount to about asset under management of about $414 million US, and it's pretty big. And I also must say that about 10 of these ESG focused funds have only been developed in the past 12 months. So you can see the pace of change in this space is quite astounding. And you also know something is brewing if you see that the top emitters are beginning to shift their operation. Petronas, the national oil and gas company, has established Gentari Private Limited, which is a hydrogen company. They're also venturing into carbon storage technology, and they've also announced net zero by 2030. Similarly, the largest utility company, TNB or Tenaga Nasional, has announced its sustainability pathway by 2050. It has also established energy transition unit, to move from coal to other cleaner energy sources. And Malakoff is another big independent power producer, which is now changing its business model to greener technologies. And then the media players have also seen and then they've been part and parcel to get the to capture the energy in the ESG space going. They've launched the Edge. The Edge is a business weekly, and it has come up with the Edge Sustainability Award together with UOB Bank and also Morningstar, and the entries will all be all the public companies in Malaysia. And then for SMEs, there's another category by another newspaper, which is the largest circulation English medium newspaper, The Star, and OCBC Bank will be coming up with ESG Positive Impact Awards, which will include the SMEs. So on the surface, we can see that there's a kind of a paradigm shift from a shareholder-centric philosophy to one that is focused on broader stakeholders. And Pricewaterhouse did a study that finds that from the top 50 Malaysian public listed companies, 98% of them already have ESG strategies. 62% of them have already integrated ESGs in their businesses, and about 60% of them have emission reduction policies in place. So it's looking quite positive. Just to give you sort of a kind of inkling on the kind of news we encounter on a daily basis, this is just last month. Throughout August, 1st of August, there was a news about hydrogen power fuel cell electric vehicle assembly plant in Sarawak. And then the next day, we have Sime Darby, another big conglomerate, announcing that it will install EV charging station at every 200 kilometers in our highway. And then on August 4th, there's a news about sustainability-linked debt jumped in issuance by 30% in just 1 year. And then on August 9, the Rubber Council and International Labour Organization released a new guide to eliminate forced labor. This is in response to the case of Top Glove, I'm sure. And Public Bank is working together with Gamuda, is providing a facility, a special financing to Gamuda, which is a property developer, for sustainable housing. And then Proton, on the automotive side, Proton has also been given the green light to sell and service smart EVs in Malaysia, also Thailand. CIMB, the second largest bank, is working with the WWF Malaysia to inventorize species in Fraser's Hill, one of the tourist spots in Peninsular Malaysia. And the big news last week was the announcement by Maybank, the largest bank, to establish Scope 3 finance emissions baseline. And coming from Maybank, this is very significant news that will have some ripple effect throughout the industry, hopefully. So this is a kind of excitement that we have in this space. In the past couple of years, particular. But of course, implementing this ESG, I mean, from promises to actual actions on the ground, of course, there's so many challenges ahead of us. One is this threat of rising uncertainties which the whole world is facing, the 3R rate, interest rate, recession, and also Russia. And if you look deeper, there are other issues, like tightening of the fiscal space, and a whole other issues that will affect our planning when it comes to ESG mainstreaming. And of course, we are also worried with the strengthening of the ESG regulatory landscape internationally. What will happen if the carbon border tax mechanism is put in place? What will happen to our exporters who are not prepared? So these are the kind of questions that we are asking ourselves. Of course, the economic recovery in Malaysia is looking better than before, but it is not going fast enough in comparison with our neighbors in this region, for instance. And this is a cause to worry. And of course, the other challenge with ESG is that with new space, with new economic space comes new competencies, new jobs. For instance, in just sustainable financing alone, there will be all kinds of new job opportunities. For instance, you need, overnight we have to supply sustainable finance investment banker, green bond specialist, ESG product strategist, ESG research analyst, ESG investment writer, and up to global head of sustainability and all this. Where are going to get these skill sets from? In a very short span of time. According to research by the Institute of Corporate Directors Malaysia, they found that in the third quarter of 2020 survey, they found that ESG expertise is amongst the most needed but the least present competencies in the Malaysian boards. And only late last year, they started working with the Stock Exchange Bursa Malaysia in enhancing the mandatory accreditation program to provide directors with foundational knowledge on the role of ESG in value creation. So it is starting to happen, but the question is, can we get this going quick enough to tap the growing ESG funds internationally and also domestically? Challenge number 4, again, it's not unique to Malaysia, is greenwashing. Fast marketing, there are some asset managers in Malaysia, for instance, who seem to only repurpose all unpopular company funds and mark it as ESG compliant without providing supportive data, says one of the interviewees here. And then there's also variation in standards. There's a lack of standards when it comes to third-party verification, and some issuers have taken advantage of this gap and to rename the products green, even though they're not necessarily green in terms of practice. And then question of box ticking tendencies, all this will require stronger regulatory scrutiny, and we need to prepare the regulatory landscape with the right skill sets as well. So bottom line is, how do we move from ESG storytelling to make firm moves that incorporate those plans in actual measures? That's the million-dollar question. And of course, how do you empower collective action? It's such a big area. I lost count of all the ESG conferences and summits. Every other week would have something like that happening. And there are so many players, international players, from framework developers to standard setters. Then you have all kinds of data providers, and then the investor coalition initiative. And in Malaysia, there are some peculiarities. For instance, for third-party verification, you get the rating agency doing it. You have the big 4 firms, accounting firms doing it as well. And then you have these other international players here. So there is a lack of commonality, and every rating seems to have a different take on materiality. So as a challenge in sort of focusing the efforts or the energy in this area. And of course, now I'm down to my last slide, which will try to capture a number of options. Of course, there is no way of ignoring ESG, and it's not going to be just a fashionable thing which will go away, I think. So there is, we must focus our efforts to turn ESG into a growth opportunity. How do we do that? First, I think is to get the collective action going. How do we bring together the financial regulators, the bankers, the fund managers to a forum that decide how ESG standard can be harmonized? There is a recent meeting by of the GC3, the Joint Committee on Climate Change, and they recognize some of these challenges. I think this question is whether they want to increase their membership from just from the financing fraternity to also include other players and emulate the task force initiated by the International Organization of Securities Commission, for instance. And then how do we mobilize on the ground response? And how do we connect ESG know-how and the fund at the right place at the right time by channeling the resources that we have to local players who are working on sustainable development projects and inclusive projects? Question is, how do we move beyond measurement to actions that benefit societies? And along that line also is the challenge of building a local ESG ecosystem. How we do that? Perhaps we need a roadmap of ESG integration to get all the different players together. And I would like to end by invitation to get our industrial players from Taiwan to work with our side of fence in reindustrializing Malaysia through a greener pathway. Taiwan is currently ranked in the 6th place in the green competitiveness around the world, and exports from Taiwan grain industry last year were valued at about $40 billion, making up about 13% of Taiwan's exports, total exports. And we also know that Taiwan has got some expertise in its industrial parks, particularly through the Industrial Development Bureau, which has started the promotion of industrial equalization in 22 of its government industrial parks. We want to learn from you. How do you integrate energy and resource, and how do you scale this up? This is perhaps one area that we can work together in the near future. And finally, as someone who's worked in the sustainable development space for more than 20 years, I must say that the move towards CSG is a very welcoming one. We need the creative force of the business sector, of the industry, to solve the environmental challenges, the social challenges that we have. But ESG, as it is currently framed, is a market-based movement. In some ways, it does not constitute ecological thinking, and it is the adoption of some ecological concerns into the thinking that is predominantly economic. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good start. But I think moving forward, we will have to think about deep ESG, and how do we do that? That is a topic for another conversation. I would like to take this opportunity to once again thank the Taiwan Economic Research Institute, and I hope we can continue this conversation in other forums in the future. Thank you very much.
谢谢 Dr. Hasri Adnan 精彩的分享。Thank you, Dr. Adnan, for your wonderful sharing. 接下来是来自台湾代表的专题演讲，让我们欢迎财团法人资讯工业策进会国际处黄琼雅处长。他要分享的讲题是台湾数位发展路径图数位韧性。Next, please welcome Ms. Vivian Huang, Director General of the International Division of the Institute for Information Industry. Her topic is Taiwan's Digital Development Roadmap, Digital Resilience. 时间就交给黄处长。
Hello everyone, my name is Vivian Huang, the Director General of International Division, Digital Transformation Research Institute for Information Industry. Today, I want to share with you Taiwan's digital development roadmap and how we are implementing digital resilience. I will give you introduction of who we are. As you might have heard, the Ministry of Digital Affairs in Taiwan was established on August 27th, and Audrey Tang Feng is the first minister. I will then introduce the case studies that Taiwan has on the subject of digital resilience. Here at III, we have identified ourselves as the digital transformation enabler. We will continue to develop smart solutions and application services that cater to the needs of the industry and to facilitate the digital transformation of the government and the industry, with the goal of rising to competitiveness in the global market. And we have 4 main business focuses. First, we are the government think tank that executes more large-scale digital construction and plans such as Smart City program. Second, we provide specific fields of ICT talent training and assist with international certificate license training. Third, on R&D, III concentrates on ICT R&D, then we transfer our technology to the private sector. By far, we have obtained more than 1,500 patents and transferred technology to more than 800 companies. Fourth, for industrial promotion, at the International Division, our main mission is to promote industry success and cultivate new industry development. We have assisted the government to promote smart city applications, establish strategic alliance with the governments overseas, associations, and research organizations around the world to collaborate on smart city projects, including e-government, smart transportation, smart agriculture, green energy, smart healthcare, 5G, AIoT, and innovative applications and service. With the newly established Ministry of Digital Affairs, MODA, we have Taiwan's first ministry with the sole focus on digital development and which oversees information, telecommunication, cybersecurity, and the internet. Taiwan's President Tsai had laid out the expectation of the ministry with a priority to promote the digital transformation of Taiwan and to ensure Taiwan's advantage on the digital development in a global setting. We want to shape Taiwan into a digital supernation who care and respect individual needs through technology. With our contiguous and active global engagement, we seek to establish a global alliance with shared value on digital resilience. The logo, MODA, is composed of geometric lines, spans digital platforms to cloud, from developer coding to civic participation on the internet. Its directional symbols to the top right are a metaphor illustrating the ideology of MODA, connecting people, citizens, everyone, through cross-sector collaboration. To make the vision of smart citizens a reality, MODA has the following 3 goals from the aspects of social development, industry digital transformation, and cybersecurity emergency response. First, to shape the paradigm of multidisciplinary collaboration in digital services and to reinforce resilience of government competence. Second, complete the data altruism ecosystem and application, and to expand the horizon of personal data empowerment. Third, to promote the development of technology and data democratization for innovation communities across the globe. Taiwan has risen in the global competitiveness for our ICT capacities and innovation. We seek to present the best of our smart city solutions from our system integrators and solutions providers to the global audience. And here is our video. Please take a look.
Taiwan's system integration solutions are helping the world perform intelligent upgrading. Smart street lighting control systems are being exported to Southeast Asia, Europe, and America. Planning MRT engineering communication systems for Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, and the Philippines. Autonomous bus transport systems have entered the American market. Agricultural drones are soaring in the skies of Southeast Asian countries. Our unique tire pyrolysis system is promoting environmental sustainability worldwide. Taiwan is striving to be in the vanguard all over the world. Taiwan, the world's island of technology.
To become an important and trustworthy partner of the global digital economy, we have the following laid out policies and action. First, we will participate in global standardization standard setting. Second, we will build a network of diverse human capital for capacity building that meets the international standards. Third, we will connect to the worldwide capital investment for digital innovation. Fourth, implement cybersecurity measures and adhere to the protection of privacy and human rights. Prime Minister Audrey Tang words: resilience is whenever under unfavorable situations, one is able to withstand and quickly recover through certain immediate response mechanisms, and even strengthen one with the lesson learned from attacks. This concept will become a belief for the individuals, and with this shared mentality by the public, and is vital to Taiwan's digital development roadmap. With the newly established Ministry of Digital Affairs of Taiwan, we are entering a new paradigm of digital era. We want to share this with our friends, Malaysia and other countries, to learn from each other. To illustrate digital resilience on the internet, every participant is a digital citizen and can participate in policy making, policy setting, both domestically and internationally. It calls for a global internet that protects privacy and security, which caters to human needs and promotes policy-making participation through inclusive and universal connectivity. Through such shared value, Taiwan has been working to establish the global digital resilient infrastructure with human care and social innovation. Now I'm gonna tell a story. On the subject of resilience and inclusivity, I want to use smart agriculture in Kaohsiung City, the south city of Taiwan, as an example. The arable land area of Kaohsiung City accounts for 16% of the total, and 10% of the population is engaged in agriculture and animal husbandry. The challenge to production lies in the prevention of the disasters. And for sales, the questions to answer is where to sell and how many and how much to sell. Due to the aging population caused the labor shortage in agricultural industry, a lot of crops at their harvest seasons face a lack of labor. Most of them are given priority to harvesting season and lack of manpower to help harvest. Now we're gonna see a video talking about smart solutions in Kaohsiung agricultural industry.
全球极端气候常态化严重冲击台湾农业生产力。根据农委会统计，近10年来天灾造成的农损平均每年高达110亿元。为了防止农业断卖危机，高雄市府力推智慧农业，结合新科技，协助当地小农突破困境。
现在有莲雾、桃园那边有3.91公顷。可能受到淫雨的危害。
我们每个小时大概会有56种的一个针对不同的作物做好防灾预警的工作，所以农民只要有手机加入我们的 Telegram 或者是 Line， 他就可以很快的能够收到各式各样的一个防灾的一个资讯。
高雄首开全台地方政府之先，开发应用软体农来讯，每天一早还能针对300种以上蔬果进行市场即时交易价格涨跌分析，让农民有所本，分散产销风险。红中带绿的玉荷包结实累累，皮薄肉厚，香气浓郁。偏偏这几年暖冬影响，导致玉荷包开花率低，产量大减，让第3代接班的年轻农民决定不再完全靠天吃饭，导入物联网科技，突破农业困境。
我们可以温度大于几度的时候，我们就去洒水降温，然后温度低于多少，我们的水就停止。
就算人不在现场，打开手机 App 就能远端操作。就连过去果农最头痛的病虫、荔枝细蛾危害，科技农领航对症下药。
我们会针对这只虫的习性，就是它都夜晚出没，我们有精准的时间点去喷药这件事，而且我们的农民也不用那么辛苦，他只要把农药泡好，然后我们回到家之后，可能看手机，晚上7、8点把开关打开，然后虫就死掉了。
链结新科技，智慧加值，解决传统农业问题，全面提升农作物的质允量。而接轨过程，高市府农业局更聘请植物医师，解决小农疑难杂症。
因为有时候有的病害会长得很雷同，那我们这边会有一些精密的显微镜，可以帮他直接看说，这到底是真菌呢，还是细菌的问题？
投注人力、资金、科技，扶植产业转型，一条龙式的智慧化模式同步运用在养殖渔业。
整个养殖环境的温度啦，养殖环境的氧气的数据啦，酸碱的数据啦，水质的数据啦，或者盐度的数据，这些主要的数据，我们透过我们的 IoT 设备把它24小时收集起来。那如果有问题的话，就能够提前预警告知他们，能够有足够的时间来处理。
放眼望去，一座座养殖槽内饲养的有青龙龙虾、锦绣龙虾，以及被誉为梦幻之鱼的条石鲷，每台斤市价约1600元，全是高经济价值的冷水鱼虾种。
再把它往下点的时候，其实它有连续数据可以让他们知道说，这几天来的变化。
透过智能监测预警系统以及造流增氧机，协助渔民深化养殖能力。这套智慧化系统已成功在印尼、菲律宾、汶莱、缅甸等新南向国家推广，就连帛琉总统会数人来台也特地前往参访，成为台湾之光。如今的高雄致力以创新科技力助农渔业升级，迈向 AI 智慧化世界潮流。高雄这个国际港都转型为向国际输出创新的亚洲新湾区。
In the previous video, we saw the Kaohsiung Agri-Info. Through digital transformation of agricultural information, with the help of industry, government, and academia, Kaohsiung City with 1,900 locations combine the yearly agricultural surveys on over 4,700 crops items in a digital fashion, uses big data analysis to support decision making and agri-product disaster prevention warning, and it is opened with APIs. This is the multi-stakeholder approach that we utilized. In this Kaohsiung Agri-Info, we have the crop disaster weather early warning system. In this platform, it connects the weather data and consolidates the rainfall, temperature, humidity, and the weather forecasts for the week to develop a downtown and village information database, which shows the disaster types such as wind, water, temperature, and compound classification to establish the criteria for crop disaster early warning. In this platform, we also have market transaction price and volume dashboard and database, and e-commerce platform. They integrated products from farmers association, co-ops, agricultural enterprises under its jurisdiction, combined with Kaohsiung Bank's cash flow services and domestic express logistics, information flow and other resources through the virtual integration model of Kaohsiung City agricultural products to assist farmers in marketing and promotion. Lastly, with the real-time manpower matching for agriculture, this vitalizes the manpower of colleges and universities in nearby agricultural areas, and by building this human resource pool through the concept of shared economy, relieves the problem of labor shortage in agriculture. Having the infrastructure for the building blocks for smart agriculture isn't enough. We are currently building a sustainable agri-food exchange platform. We believe it has already happened in the global society. Maybe it happened in Malaysia already. On the production side, a joint production, sales, traceability, certification, and food safety standards on this platform can be established to fulfill sustainable agricultural production. On the consumer side, since enterprise ESG has become the trend, the willingness of enterprise to purchase sustainable agricultural products will be increased. On sustainable development, smart agricultural application, automated and mechanized agricultural machinery and equipment, agricultural intelligence algorithm, agricultural cloud, blockchain, etc. All this technology can accelerate production, distribution, marketing, and even financing. And production, consumption, smart agriculture, these three constitutes a virtual good cycle. And the platform on the center is the foundation for the data governance, ensuring trust for these three sectors. As we know, smart rural ESG food brand may gain the appearance of rural specialty products in the international market. And this platform can be utilized to strengthen and develop the cross-industry collaboration between agriculture and other industry, such as smart retail, for expansion of overseas sales channels. We believe through the establishment of a trust mechanism between production, consumption, and smart technologies, and this collaborative nature of this platform, the global food supply chain may be stabilized with the products forecast and dispatch aided by the use of innovative technology, such as AI, through the data sharing mechanism. The result is that all the participants, multi-stakeholder, can receive respective benefits from this ecosystem. According to Economy Southeast Asia, a multi-year research program by Google, Temasek, and Bain & Company, we have observed that digital consumption had grown 4 times than that of 2020. We see digital merchants take off as 1 in 3 merchants believe without digital, they could not have survived COVID. Southeast Asia's internet economy had also reached around 170 billion gross merchandise value in 2020 and is forecasted to be reached more than double, over 360 billion GMV by 2025. And it will be 5 times more, reaching 1 trillion in 2030. This forecast is supported by global capital pouring into Southeast Asia, with around 11.5 billion in first half of 2021 alone, equivalent to that of 2020. The digital economy in Southeast Asia is experiencing rapid growth. Health tech is one of the domains that have continued to grow. Health-related services have experienced a surge in user adoption and consumers' willingness to pay is forecasted to grow upward. This sector attracted around 1.1 billion funding in the first half of 2021 in comparison to 800 million in 2020. Education technology had also shown a high growth potential as well, but investors have been observing and the funding interest remains similar than that of 2020, with 200 million in the first half of 2021. Health tech and smart education are both Taiwan's strengths. These 2 sectors have grown rapidly during the pandemic, and we are more than willing to collaborate with Southeast Asia on these smart applications. We see the following momentum drivers have made significant progress, including payments, funding, logistics, internet access, and consumer trust, while talent have made a limited progress. In Taiwan, we have over 3 decades of capacity building and talent cultivation experience in ICT in III, Institute of Information Industry. We are now cultivating new talents for novel technologies. In talent cultivation, besides technology, we also focus on emerging enablers, including ESG and sustainability, digital inclusion, and data infrastructure and regulation coming into play. On carefully studying Malaysia's strategy, we realized that Malaysia's the digital economy blueprint had laid out the goals to create a digitally inclusive society, to establish a digital environment that guarantees trust, safety, and ethics. My Digital in Malaysia shares the same idea and vision as Taiwan's Ministry of Digital Affairs MODA goals. In Taiwan, Our strengths in digital development include cybersecurity, privacy protection, digital inclusivity, and digital transformation in SMEs. This is the best we have, and we can definitely learn from each other, perhaps through exchange and collaboration between the Ministry of Digital Affairs, MODA in Taiwan, and Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC. We can contribute to the trust online in the My Digital Plan. Our Minister of MODA, Audrey Tang, said, IT is a connecting tool, but digital is about connecting people. I believe digital is the key to ESG and social innovation. In Taiwan, we consult the opinion from the involved parties and stakeholders. The stakeholders now assume the role of co-creators to encourage the government institutes to innovate together. For example, last year in pandemic time, within 72 hours, we have built a mass rationing scheme enabling fellow citizens in need of masks to easily and quickly search for, locate vendors, and obtain data. We have taken into account the interests of all parties, stakeholders, and this was made possible by the civil society leading the public health sectors. By having a strong trust foundation, co-creation, inclusivity, ESG, Taiwan as a nation is already on the way to digital resilience. And we hope we can have more discussion and exchange with Malaysia and to learn from each other. We are interested to hear your story and your journey to digital economy. Internet is borderless. We should establish digital resilience and help each other together. We wish you flourish and prosper, and we will advance together. Thank you very much.
谢谢黄琼雅处长为我们分享精彩的演讲。Thank you, Director General Huang, for your wonderful sharing. 各位贵宾，今天台马产业链接高峰论坛暂时告一段落，谢谢所有线上参与的来宾。接下来9月7号到8号，还有智慧城市、资讯服务、纺织以及食品医药化妆品等产业的精彩议程，欢迎跟我们在线上交流，期待各位的参与。Ladies and gentlemen, we will now conclude this session. On September 7th and 8th, there are sub-forums on smart city, IT, textile, and food, medicine, and cosmetics. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.